Hello, everybody, and welcome to the North American Star League. This is Division 4, Week 3, and we have some amazing matchups. But before we get into the matchups and the maps, we have the daily disclaimer. Now, this is a daily show that we do in the North American Star League, but still some people find it within themselves to be surprised that 30 minutes before the games start, we are talking about StarCraft. So,
Crazy.
If you're one of those people who are coughing up coffee right now, and getting on the phone, hollering at operators and saying, "Where is my games? Why are there no North America?" It's okay. This is the pregame show. This is where two guys talk about some StarCraft, and we kill some time for 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, the games will actually start. So if that's not the thing for you, go outside. Walk with your kid. Look at the sky. I don't care. Just please don't yell at us. So,
all right. Yeah.
some introductions.
Good substitutes.
Yes, those are good replacements for yelling at us, I feel. I am Jeff In Control Robinson. I am a part of the Team Evil Geniuses organization, and I am also a proud member of the North American Star League staff. So thank you very much. That's me. To my right, no, that's not some supermodel from Giovanni, whatchamacallit. Blue Steel, do it, yeah. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
This is actually Andre Greetorp Hangshua. Buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful today. A little bit tired because I did something really stupid yesterday.
Uh-oh.
I went running for 4 miles. I'm so sorry,
I think in my whole life I've ran a total of 4 miles. That's actually completely not true. I've done a lot of sports. But that's awesome, dude. You just got up and ran 4 miles?
Yeah, I was like, well, this is what happened, right? I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take it easy, run like 2-3 miles, because it's one of my first days back into actually doing running, and I got lost. So I got lost in my community.
Figured you just extend the workout.
So I was like, yeah. Yeah. So I ran like an extra 10-20 minutes. And I'm guesstimating 4 miles.
I think that's why man invented treadmills, so people wouldn't get lost when they're running. But that's us. Now, we're going to go ahead and talk about who's playing today. We're going to announce who's playing today, what the matchups are. Then we're going to discuss the maps, and then we're going to go into the actual matchups themselves. So, Greetorp, who's playing today?
Well, match number 1, we have a really nice match. We have Braddock versus Cats. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, same here.
Match number 2, we have Rhett versus Goody. Match number 3, we have Select versus Stall-Life. Match number 4, we have Hasu versus Machine. And to pull it in for the anchor, we have MC versus Ace.
Damn.
Today's got some good matches, man.
That's really good.
Really good matches. I mean, every day has good matches, but I'm really looking forward to today.
It does seem to kind of, like, Week 4 and 5 does not disappoint. Or not week, but Division 4 and 5. They rarely disappoint, so looking forward to the games. Now, the maps that these people will be playing on are in order: Crossfire SE, Backwater Gulch, and then Tal'Darim Altar. So we're going to talk a little bit about these maps, but those are the maps in order, and if you're not familiar with our system, there is no loser picks, there is no, voting down maps. That was it. Those are the 3 in that order, so when they play, they got to take that into consideration, and they've known that for a while. So the first map will be Crossfire SE, and I really like starting off here because I feel like Crossfire, and again, we've talked about this map quite a bit, so we're not going to necessarily talk just about the map itself, but more how it functions with these players. I like it because you have to play to this map.
Yeah.
And I think it offers challenges specifically for Zerg, but they're not like so impossible.
Yeah, Zergs haven't done terribly on this map. Namely, I'm thinking of ETN Dark Force, and the other person I'm thinking of is Cybernation Moman.
Yeah.
Both of those players did pretty well on this map. Of course, there have been other problems. We saw Liquid Haypro get defeated yesterday on this map. And other Zergs have had a lot of trouble, namely
Moonblade versus
Jelizer,
Nada.
Moonblade, yes. But I think it's nice. Players are starting to utilize the map, starting to do that counter-attacking strategy where they get a lot of units and just chuck them over on that almost by the third of everybody's or their respective race positions. And do keep in mind, we have 2 mirror matchups today, and the rest are all Zerg matchups. So we have a ZVT, two ZVTs, and a ZVP.
Yeah.
So we're going to see Zergs play on this map, and it's going to be against different races. And I think they have a good shot at this, to be completely honest. The open natural has been being abused for quite some time now, and I think we're going to see that a lot more in today's matches.
I agree. And you know, I'll be interested to hear your opinion on this. In my opinion, the match that I'm most looking forward to, actually, to start off with this map, is Rhett versus Goody, because this map in the past has been more of like a tank marine timing push type of map. That's been the predominant strategy we've seen from Terran players. They don't really want to go to the long game because the narrow chokes are bad for Zerg in the early and mid, I feel, but then good for Zerg because against those Broodlords, but then also with fungal growth from the Infestors, I feel like it's real easy to get a good hit on a whole Terran army. I want to see how good he plays in here. We know he's going to make tanks. I'm not even putting it up to question. The man's going to make freaking tanks. He will. And I feel like this map kind of ebb and flows both between excellent for tanks because of all the plateaus and alleyways, but then also it can be problematic because they are slower, and this is a map control type of map. So if you've expanded to the right side and you have your whole army over here, that leaves your front, the natural and the main exposed. So Rhett's on the upswing. I mean, we can't talk too much about the players here. We got to have something to talk about when we get to them, but in fact, I think I'm doing that right now. So we'll talk more about that during the actual matchup. But look for this map to be problematic and also, problematic but exciting for the Zergs, in my opinion.
It's a puzzle game almost.
I agree.
For both players, because let's be honest, we don't see a lot of maps like Crossfire SE.
Right.
So it has to bring innovative play. We have been seeing the standard, and then all of a sudden people are starting to change it up a little bit, and I think it's throwing people off. And I like the innovation that we see. I like that just spur of the moment decision making that we've been seeing in the last matches.
I have to agree with you on that one. So look to that map to be kind of exciting in those matchups in particular. Map number 2 is going to be Backwater Gulch. And this is an interesting map to fall back on because this has actually produced some pretty exciting games. I actually just practiced with Idra on it yesterday. I know not to hype up tomorrow too much, but he's getting ready, man. He is feisty and angry and preparing for mana. But he was looking on this map in particular because, again, it's not used in other tournaments, so the experience on it, the kind of, well, this is what you do on this map because we just know that, doesn't exist. And that's why I think Backwater Gulch is an exciting addition to this map pool because everyone looks at this map and they don't have a template to fall back on. There's not some known, well, that's what so-and-so did in the GSL. Nope. It's everyone's interpretation.
Yeah. And again, that's another reason why I really like the North American Star League. You have that mixture. You have that GSL maps, and you have Blizzard map. You have maps culminating from all over the place.
Right.
And today, in particular, we get to see Backwater Gulch, and I've been a pretty big fan of this map. To be completely honest, I've been after seeing Nada versus Moonglade, especially. I mean, they were close positions, so I was saying to myself, well, Nada definitely has this one 100%. There's no way. Well, not really, but I was like, he has an advantage going into it. But Moonglade really gave him a run for his money, and I really like that. Now I think there could be a lot more innovative play as well, just like we see in Crossfire, and it's starting to happen. We're starting to see new things, especially what comes to mind is White Raw versus Show when he did a 1-gate robo build, which is very build. It was playing towards the player, but there is a lot of innovation that you can do with this map. It's not so linear. It's not so straightforward, and I think it'll produce some really great results today.
Well, I mean, look no further than Startail Squirtle versus Straylock.
Oh, yes.
You know, that Straylock did not just look at that and say, I mean, he told us point blank, so we don't even need to speculate on this. He left off that second gas up there because he knew that when SCVs scout up into that ramp, or probes as it were, they do not see that, the first guys or the command center itself. So he actually planned out how that scouting functions and knew that he was safe to do that. So that's the kind of innovative play and the cool little gimmicks, I guess, that you can find for yourself and be rewarded for. If he takes that second gas, if he just does a proxy base and takes that second gas, that base doesn't stay up. Perhaps Squirtle's main attack goes there, it trashes it, and now they're on equal bases, and who knows how that game turns out differently. I really feel that when players take these maps that are not necessarily practiced and known on the circuit and apply their own innovation on it, and we're left here to kind of see the results, that is fantastic, and it's really exciting. So I can't wait to see how this map develops. We're only in week 3, but as things get more serious, as the stakes get higher, I can't wait to see what comes out on these maps. Now, to round out the map pool, we do have Tal'Darim Altar, and I actually love the position of this map in this play day. I feel like Tal'Darim Altar is the big macro map. It absolutely is. It's produced some really exciting games so far, and this is the map. So converse, we talked about how Backwater Gulch, it's up to these players in the North American Star League to kind of figure out what they want to do on it. Tal'Darim Altar is the one that has been tried and true. It's on other tournament circuits.
Yeah.
It's been practiced. Heck, it's even in the ladder pool for Blizzard. So people have played lots of games on this map.
I think it gives a nice round out. I mean, we see in the first two maps, I should say. The first two maps, we see a lot of preparation and innovation, I would say, in the first two maps, just because they're not used as much. And then you round it out in the third, saying, okay, we'll get back to something that you guys are used to,
right?
And then you get to let your hair down.
I know. I love that term. I really do. I think I can just see players like, oh, good, Tal'Darim Altar. I'll let my hair down. But essentially what we're getting at is that this is the big macro map. This is where you can cheese. In fact, one of the big storylines we've been talking about is that on a macro map, you either play macro because it's a macro map or you cheese because it's a macro map. And we've been seeing a lot of that. Actually, even HeyPro's 6 pool comes to mind. Some results better than others. But still, that's kind of the cool diversity a map like this offers. This is the updated version, so the middle of the map is still lucrative in the sense that it offers expansions and positional advantages, but it does not have high-yield bases so that they're kind of overly powerful, I would say. If you both have the positional advantage of controlling the middle of the map and you've got a high-yield expansion, that's highly problematic on a big macro map like this. But one of the big things to look at this, and we have 3 Zerg matchups. None of them are mirrored. They've all spread out, so we're going to see a lot of Zerg today. How do they handle Tal'Darim Altar's size? And one of the things I've been lobbying for is use those Nidus Worms, use those drops, but don't just rely on creep tumors. And sometimes that's one of the easy crutches Zergs fall back on, and it hinders them. Not necessarily on a small map, not even necessarily on a medium map, but when you get to these mega big maps like Tal'Darim Altar, if you're just spreading creep tumors and some of them get picked off, you're in a pickle.
Yeah. Let me also say, this is going to be the first week we see the correct version of Tal'Darim Altar. So we will be seeing no destructible rocks at the second natural.
No 2 pylon cannon rushes.
No 2 pylon cannon rushes. No destructible rocks. No gold expansion. So things are going to be a lot different. I think it's gonna be nicer for Zerg.
Yeah,
they're going to get their third up much faster because they don't have to blow down some rocks. Now they have half the minerals there, but I mean, it changes up the format completely. And I think, to be honest, it's buffed Zerg in this matchup. Well,
that's certainly the changes they wanted to make for it. It used to be too difficult. And like I said, in taking that third, I mean, a Void Ray could get over there in time to delay that, and they had to use their Lings there. The high-yield expansions are good for Zerg, but they're better for the other races, so it made this map a lot more difficult. So I am happy that they did that, absolutely. And a lot of people, when this map was used, they're like, in control, you're a Protoss player, you want that map. No. I want to win on the most balanced map against the best opponent at all times, and that's just me, but I'm happy with this map, rounding it out. I think that the big macro map is map number 3, should make it say that in this best of 3, X player won because they were the better player today. We're not ending on like an imbalanced map. I mean, we dodged some bullets, and sometimes we actually got shot in those first couple weeks, like Metalopolis in close positions, and we're like, nah, but not the case with this map. So everything's good with the maps. Really excited. Let's talk a little bit about the matchups now.
So match number 5, of course, the last match. You got a PvP going, man.
Yeah, it's a PvP between 2 of the best Protosses.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to this. A lot of people, well, no, I'm not going to say that, but I'm looking forward to this PvP.
Me too.
I'm really looking forward to it. As MC, he's been on a tear. Just recently destroyed at the Copenhagen Games, going, I believe, 4-0 to
in the finals.
Koss in the finals.
Jeez.
He was a monster. Now, do keep in mind, he lost 0-2 to Rhett last week.
Yes, he did.
And it was pretty convincing, too. Rhett looked phenomenally well.
And he's 0-2, man.
Yeah, MC's 0-2.
He, unfortunately...
If I told you. Okay.
The flight...
NASL, MC's 0-2 in the week 3.
Well, I mean, week 1's tragic. We can't hold that too far against him. He got stuck in Istanbul, so it's not like it's his fault at all. But to your point, logistically and legitimately in week number 2, he's 0-2.
Yeah.
And he has an attitude, ladies and gentlemen. I don't mean an attitude like we need to be worried about his comments. He has an attitude like he thinks he needs to win every game ever or else he's pissed. Yeah. And he is pissed. I guarantee it. He knows that when we announced like $50,000 to first place prize, he was like, oh, I'm in that tournament. And half of it's non-Koreans? Awesome. That's awesome for me. I mean, every tournament he goes to, Copenhagen, like you talked about, there was the DreamHack Invitational that he just happened to win, by the way, for $15,000. Like, he travels around the world collecting money from people for StarCraft 2. Like, oh, thank you very much. I'll win that tournament too. What's that? There's one. Yes, of course. Thank you. That's really nice. That's what he does for a living. But here, he's in trouble. And yeah. I mean he's in trouble. Ace is tearing it up. Ace is 2-0, doing fantastically well, and he he's good enough to beat MC any day of the week. I'm not saying he's the better player, but in PvP with the coin flip nature of it to a certain extent, but also just between the skill of these two players, Ace could beat MC and put him 0-3 in the North American Star League, and I don't know if 6-3 makes it out of this group.
I don't know if you can qualify. I mean, don't get me wrong. This division is quite tough. There are some fierce opponents.
Yeah.
But as you said, 6-3, it's kind of sketchy. You know, I would think you have to go something like 7-2 to qualify for every single one.
Right.
Of the divisions, and MC starting off in 0-2. That means you have to go flawless for the rest of the weeks. I mean, we'll see. This is going to be tough for him, but I cannot stress that enough. MC, he needs to pick it up, man. He cannot be losing any matches.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the structure of the tournament. There's the top 2 from each group. They auto-qualify for the top 16 finals, which is an offline or a real-life final, offline as far as StarCraft 2 is concerned, and that's where you compete for the $100,000 prize pool. The people that aren't in the top 2, I think the 2 below that, make the playoffs, and I think it's the 2. I actually don't want to... I'm meddling the numbers a little bit, but there is a little bit of buffer, but those playoffs are intense. That's cutthroat. That's for like the other 1 spot per group or something like that. Pretty intense in that sense, and I gotta say, MC doesn't look anything but winning the group for him.
Yeah,
is a shock. And in this week number 3 already facing Ace, I think this is the worst time to face Ace. Is what I'm saying. Like, you fall 0-2, okay, Rhett beat you. Rhett's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
But then after like 5 weeks, he's 5-2. That's fine. Then he faces Ace, and it's like, okay, I can, I can lose 5-3, and that's fine. I'm on a roll. Or he has the momentum to win it, like you said, but. His back's up against the wall.
Exactly.
And the big dog came over and said, I'm going to finish you.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to the Ace. Check that out. It's going to be match number 5. Now, match number 4, we have Hasu Obs going up against Machine. Now, Hasu Obs is from Mouse, and Machine is from Team Evil Geniuses.
Yep.
And there will be no bias in that cast, sir.
There will be. I'll be tremendously biased for Machine. I am a huge fanboy of him. Hasu Obs is in the top 4 of some tournament called the Team Liquid Star League number 3. I don't know.
Whatever.
They're only, it's only one of the biggest tournaments ever.
He just
did you hear about that? I read about it somewhere, like page 7 of Go-To
like
Gamers or something.
Hasu Obs 3-0ing Boxer or something.
Who's Boxer?
I have no clue.
Why is he playing in StarCraft 2 League? Sounds like a physical contact sport.
I know.
Get out of here. Hasu Obs is an amazing player, doing fantastically well, and I actually, on State of the Game, picked him to beat Naniwa. He's playing Naniwa in this coming weekend, I believe, or the next weekend. I can't remember which it is. But I think he's actually going to be in the finals of the Team Liquid Star League because he's that good of a player. And he's going up against Evil Genius's Machine. Now, Machine, this is kind of the storyline with Machine. He's been in the dark a little bit. He recently had himself a beautiful girlfriend. He's madly in love with this woman. She's a great gal, and they're a great couple. But as often actually happens with StarCraft players, they find a girl and they go all in with him a little bit. So he definitely fell away from StarCraft a little bit. Not to give too much personal information. I'm sure he's probably going to punch me in the head for saying that. But that's the stuff. That's what's up with that. And now he's back. For the last couple weeks, he's been training. He's been doing really well. Recently, he actually played Druby in a show match. He did lose 1-3, but only 1 week ago, he sat down with one of the best Terrans on the whole planet, Braddock, Braddock, and I do know it's Braddock now. I had that corrected.
Boom.
So no.
Good game.
Yeah, you did win that.
I did win.
He sat down with him and 2-0'd him.
Yeah.
No,
No,
2-1. 2-1.
2-1.
Well, okay, that one game was
Sick.
crazy good. By the way, if you haven't checked out those
Backwater
VODs,
Gulch.
do check that out.
Go check that out, please. Yeah.
Interview with Machine's like, I don't know how I lost that.
Machine, he's a monster. The guy is so good. Even being semi-inactive, I wouldn't say inactive. He's never really inactive.
Well, he was. Now he's back.
Just
It says he
not as active as he normally is. But
used to be.
I mean,
he's back, man.
yeah. I know.
That's why I'm meddling the
guy's
commentating
back.
a little bit.
And you know, a lesson for all you people at home: make sure you're multitasking in real life. You know, you gotta balance the macro and micro. You can't just all in one area and expect to be, you know, a-okay. And that's very important. And we see Machine tearing it up. I could not believe how great those games were against Braddock. He played phenomenally well, and I keep saying that, but he did. He played phenomenally
legitimate,
well.
man. There's nothing else. I mean, you're absolutely right. The games were straight up macro games, and he won.
Now he is going up against a
Protoss.
quite an astoundingly strong Protoss, Hasu Obs, and to be honest, I haven't seen Machine CVP in a while, and I'm a little worried for him because Hasu Obs, he's good, man. He's really good. Just all around, very standard player. I can't really say much about him. He's just like so strong in everything.
Yeah.
So strong in everything.
Machine has MC next week, and he actually thought he had him this week, if you go back to our interview with Machine. So he's been training hardcore for ZVP.
Right.
And Hasuobs, no disrespect to him, but he's a step down from MC, obviously. MC's the best Protoss on the planet. And it's nice, because Machine's had this kind of tunnel vision focus on what matchup he needs to work on, and it's been ZVP. Now, as you said, Hasuobs... not necessarily it's very interesting. He's been silently one of the best Protosses outside of Korea, and even, you know, in this day and age we can consider one of the best Protoss players on the planet. Forget Korea being separate from the non-Korean world. And it's interesting that he's doing it silently. I say that because he doesn't, like, every time there's a top chart, he's always like considered like 4 or 5 in Europe, but no one's given him like, well, he's number 1, he's number 2. It's always White Raw, Naniwa, Mana even, and then some people are like, oh yeah, I guess you can consider Hasuobs up there. You gotta start giving this guy respect. He is sitting quite strongly in this league. I think he's 1-1. He lost a select.
Yes, he did. You're right.
He lost a select, and then he crushed somebody. Should probably
I should know this. Hasuobs. Who did he play last
he
week?
beat someone pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I will think about it.
Stall Life.
Yes, he.
Anyways, he's 1-1, and he did fantastically well. So actually go look it up. So we're pretty excited about that matchup. Let's go to the next one, though, because we're faltering here, and it's just like melting our brains. Select versus Stall Life. Select, I would go ahead and say, is one of the best Terran players on the planet.
On the planet.
Just overwhelmingly powerful. And he's going up against Stall Life, who... What do you want to say about Stall Life?
He's pretty
good.
No,
Stall Life... He's faltered.
He's faltered, yes. Last week, I thought his showing was not the Stall Life that I'm used to. Stall Life is such a great player. He loves his timings. That's the big thing. But in a Terran versus Terran, I just recently actually got to play him. Very aggressive. Very aggressive.
That'll match up well with Select, I think.
Yeah. He likes to do a lot of movement play. That's the big thing. And macro behind that. He's a macro beast, and he loves his multitasking. But what I saw of him in my game against him was he likes a lot of movement play. So he'll fake you out. What he'll do is try to take map control, or at least a vision of map control, away from you. And then he'll always fake places and then go and drop somewhere else. And he does a lot of clever things like that. And I really like Stall Life's play. It's all theoretically sound, but he definitely uses, you know, the whole vision.
Yeah.
He's like a vision guy. He denies vision as much as possible.
Now, Stall Life hailing from Team Complexity. Like we said, he's faltered a little bit. He did defeat Machine in Week 1, and then he fell to... Why are we blanking on this? He lost in Week 2. He lost to Ace, actually. Who's no slouch in himself. But he's sitting at 1-1, and this is kind of that we've been talking about this throughout the play days. This is that tipping point day. Does Stall Life become a contender for this division? Perhaps. If he goes 2-1, taking down a player like Select, you can make that argument. Does he fall 1-2 and predictably loses to Select? Because I'm not gonna blur any lines here. Select is the favorite and should be for just about everyone. Then, okay, he kind of falls into the shadows a little bit, waiting to emerge and make a name for himself. He did very well against Machine, but then he got smashed pretty hard by Ace. So that's about what people would predict for Stall Life.
Yeah.
I think he was considered the underdog even against Machine, but it was a lot closer. It was certainly like 60-40 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So does he make a name for himself today? That's something we're going to have to wait and see. Now, Select, on the other hand, is roaring through this group quite powerfully. He is sitting at 2-0 and doing it in convincing fashion.
This guy, his TVT, if you guys haven't already checked it out, the GTPL League.
Yeah.
He had which is the Gosu Coaching Premier League, sponsored by Gosu Coaching. Fantastic league. It had a match between Select and Jinro that I think went on for approximately 17 hours.
It's still my favorite TVT I've ever seen.
It was the most epic, most amazing TVT I've ever seen before in my life.
Yeah.
Hands down. This guy is a TVT specialist. He's able to go up against players like Jinro and beat them.
In long games.
And now Jinro, for all you people that don't know who Jinro is, that he's not competing in this league, but he has been playing in the GSL. Yes, he's in the S-Class Korean GSL. All right.
He would have played in this league, but he had to go take on the world. I'm sorry.
This guy is good because he's one of the best in the world.
Yep.
Of course. He's good because he's one of the best in the world.
Of Warcraft.
Select. He's able to keep up, and I think we're in for a real treat today watching his TVT.
I hope so. I love TVT. We've been obviously revealed over time that we love TVT. I'm just... It's a treat. I can't wait to get to there. So the matchups that are getting in the way of that TVT is Rhett versus Goody. Rhett from Team Liquid, representing the Little App Factory, versus ESC Goody, hailing from Germany. Goody makes tanks.
He likes tanks a little bit.
He makes tanks. He's called the Panzer General.
It was Hasu Ops versus Goody last week.
That's right. Thank you. Great series, too, by the way. Yes. Check that out. I got to say, Rhett's on the upswing. Taking out MC's got to be a big gush of air in your sales. It's got to be a confidence booster, to say the least. He's sitting at 1-1. He did face both the Koreans, losing to Ace and then beating MC. And that's got to be the hardest way to start off any division. Both those Protosses are at the top of the planet in terms of their results. So he's moving into this and he's saying, okay, I got Goody. Goody is interesting. He plays a different style than most Terran players. Obviously, it's extremely tank-centric, very mech-oriented, which makes him both difficult for Zergs to face and, I don't know. I just want to say difficult because he's so different.
Well, I started talking about mech on State of the Game, one of the shows that you host, actually, on Tuesday nights. And I was saying that it's not so much that mech is super powerful over bio. I think it's just that a lot of players do not have experience with it. And Goody, he has